Hey, what's going on, everybody, man? Michael back at you guys with my boy Glock, Floridian with me, man. Haven't seen you in like
So
about like 10 years or something like that, man?
yeah, I think I left Afghanistan in 2011, man. So it's been a minute.
Dude, been a minute. You ain't even look like you aged a bit, bro. You holding it down, man. You holding it down, dude. Got them good
Yeah,
genes.
yeah, man. It's the stress of Afghanistan. I have to worry about that no more, man.
That leather neck water, man. You know how we do it. But hey, appreciate you being here today. So, for everyone that's listening in, we're coming at you guys with another episode of military to civilian transition. All right. And we got my boy Glock here, like I said, but without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself, if you don't mind, to the viewers and let them know a little bit about yourself and why you joined the military and what you do while you were in.
All right. What's up, everybody? My name's William McLaughlin. A lot of people call me Glock. Panama City, Florida. I was there, and man, it was either waiting tables or, working corrections. So
Yeah.
down to the recruiter, hollered at him, and he sent me off the next day. Well, not the next day, probably about 2 weeks later. Signed up, 92 Alpha, and then got sent. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go see the world, and these cats sent me to Texas.
Where you go, Hood?
Yes, I ended up going to Hood. I did my whole 6 years at Hood. Well, actually, it wasn't 6 years because I ended up doing 5.5 because I ended up getting medically chaptered out.
Okay. All right. Did you know you're going to get that going? Like, when did you know you were going to get met? Was it kind of a long process for you to get out the military, or did it sort of happen fast?
Man, it was weird for me, man, because I started having like symptoms when we were deployed, man, in OIF2.
Okay.
Having a real bad, I couldn't grip anything, man. My joints was on fire, and then I got diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis. So we get back to the States, and it's weird because as soon as we get there, my unit is breaking up.
Okay.
So it's like a free for all. I don't know who my squad leader is, who my, anything, because half of them were getting ready. Half of the crew was getting shipped to Fort Bliss because they were turning everything in from, to BSBs or something like that.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting put with a whole bunch of people that really didn't know anything. So my transition getting out medically I kind of winged it, man. Like I didn't know if I decided to fight it, I could have retired and got a blue card. But instead I ended up taking the severance package, which just gives me the brown card. But, that blue card, you get TRICARE and all that stuff with it. So I had to rely on the VA. And after that, man, like matter of fact, when I was first getting out, I was so freaked out because in my mind, when I first joined, I was like, man, I'm going to be a lifer. I'm going to do 25, I'm going to do 20 years and all that. Then all of a sudden this happened and I was freaked out. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you didn't have no plan pretty much.
None whatsoever. I was like, man, school. I was like, bro, I barely finished high school, man. I don't want to go to school again.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to my VA appointment and was there with the dude. And I was like, look, man, I'm freaking out. I'm going to try to get back into the Army. So cancel this. So I ended up going and doing everything I needed to do and went to go try to get back in the Army. And the recruiter's like, hey, man, we can't let you back in. I guess I had some kind of special code, J code or something, which means, hey, I can't get back in. So I was like, damn, now I got to go back and try to schedule these appointments. And then I was working as a bouncer at a club. And then one day I just drove by and I said, hey, man, ITT hiring overseas, Iraq, Afghanistan. I go in there, sign up, man, boom, get hired. And left. And that was it for me, man. So I started doing that for a little while. And it was crazy because when I got back, I applied for my VA disability and come to find out I was 100%. So 6 years I sat on that money. I didn't even get it.
Nothing. So you got out with zero because you thought you're coming back in the military. You didn't know you were going to get a code. Then you say, hey, let me get back in here because I got out, got this. And then you're like, damn, I can't get back in. So, 6 years. I mean, that's a lot of money. But, better late than never, right?
Yeah, I was mad as hell. I was sitting here like, man, I could have. But, hey, you live and learn, man. So if this can help anybody out when you get out, man, and you get a disability, get it.
Yeah, get it before you get off active duty. That seems to be like the consensus. Like because it's only going to get harder. Because I didn't get mine when I didn't even go to the appointment, man. I didn't even know what I said. VA, I'm not going. I didn't have no one showing me. And I wasn't doing my own research, so I was like, I'm not going. I got out with 0 too, and it took me 5 years, and it got 100. So it's like I could have had the 100 too. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money to leave on the table. But, you're not really thinking of that when you say, hey, I'm about to go make 6 figures in Iraq, Afghanistan as a contractor. You're like, man, I'm off to the races.
Big facts, man. I was like, man, I was making I ain't worried about it, man. And then I get back and then I try to get a decent job. And I'm like, man, when I first got back from Iraq, man, I used my GI Bill for a little bit, and then I got a job. And so I ended up getting 2 jobs, man, just to make ends meet until I got my disability. Boy, that shit was crazy.
That's how it goes, though, man. And that's what made you like get out of the grind, the daily grind of 2 jobs to make sure you went to go get those appointments? Like, what was it? Just driving by and like saying, I got to get this done, or like, what was it?
There was a guy that I worked with in Afghanistan, man. I forgot what his name was. He was an older cat, and he was like, "Hey, man, you need to get that VA money, man." And I'm like, man, ain't nothing really wrong with me. That's another thing with these vets getting, there's nothing wrong with me, man. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Get that money.
Oh yeah, everyone said that's another one I've heard probably from everybody. It's like, when we were all in, you're a week if you go to sick call, stuff like that. But it's like, man, you got to put that aside, and if you got something wrong, just get it documented.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at man. When I finally got my 100, man, I'm like, man, I don't really have to work. I mean, I don't have to all my bills are paid with just that, and then everything that I make from work is just whatever.
Yeah.
And, here in Texas, man, same thing like in Florida, man. You 100% no property tax.
Big time.
Big time, man. My mortgage went from, I think it was like, with the property tax, I think my mortgage was going to be like $3,200. Now I only pay like $17.
And guess what? Taxes go up every year, but when you VA, you ain't got exactly. That's a big one, man. Seriously,
nothing to worry about, man. And then all the other benefits, parking at the airport for free and all that shit.
Yeah, and school for your kids, public university, and they get a stipend. A lot of things they don't. You said the table plate. There's so many things, man. There's so many different things. So you got all your 100% when you actually went and filed your claims? You literally got 100% first time go.
First time because of the psoriatic arthritis.
Because you had it. Yeah.
Because I already had psoriasis, and then it formed into psoriatic arthritis.
Okay.
And it's one of those things they don't have a cure for. It's never going to get better. The only thing they can really do is try to contain it. And probably when I get older, man, I'm gonna be. You'll see them old folks with their hands are all knotted up like that. It's probably what I end up looking like.
Nah, man, you just go back to Leatherneck and get some of that holy water. You'd be good, man.
And probably burn everything off, man. I miss that place, man. Honestly.
It was a good time over there, dude. It was a good crew, man. It was a rough time for a lot of units. I mean, they made documentaries about some of them units over there at the Marines. They got combat ineffective, man. They lost or got too many men hurt, dude. The Helmand province wasn't no joke, dude. That's for sure. But we made the best out of it, for what we could do.
Tell you what, man. While I'm on here, I want to give a shout out to the female Marines running around in their silkies in the morning. Made my day.
Ultimate morale booster.
Yes.
There you go, man. You had to let them know, man. They always took care of themselves. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah.
So when you got that 100%, did you feel like you had a big weight lifted off? Like,
I did at first, man. I was like, because I ended up getting a big check, man. So I was like, oh man, so we're good for a little while. It was crazy because I had to pay back that severance pay that the Army gave me. So
why so?
When I got out, the Army gave me $17,000.
Okay.
When I first got out. You know what I mean? And then finally, and nobody told me that, hey, if you take this, once you get your VA disability, you're gonna have to pay that back before we can give you your VA disability. So it actually took me a year to get my disability. So they ended up taking that 17 out of that big ass check. So I mean, it was still a nice check.
Yeah. But yeah, so what'd you do after that? Were you still working overseas, or did you sort of say, I'm done going overseas contracting, I'm just gonna get something?
I'm done. I'm here. I ended up getting a job at a hospital for a little while, man. Just sat there and worked in the supply department. It wasn't too bad. It was I think it was like $17 an hour back in 2013.
Okay.
So,
And so what's one thing that you wish you would have known when you were in the military about like using the, it could be anything about just getting out from your experience?
well, one thing is I wanted to sign over my GI Bill to my son. And
Okay.
I heard you can do that. But
Yeah, I think that made it something different now.
Yeah, because back when I was in, I got out in 2006.
Okay.
And you had to sign that over to him while you were still in. I didn't know any of that. Like I said, my transition when I was getting out, man, it was a shit show.
Sounds like you got a unit disbanding, everyone going which way. So it's like, man, how long do you think you had for all that? Like when you got back and before, from the time you got back from a deployment to when you got out the military, how long do you think it was?
When we got back from deployment, my unit stayed together for maybe about 3 months.
Okay.
Then I started, like I said, I started going to the doctor to see what was going on with me with like everything was hurting, my knees, my hips, my ankles. I was like walking like a zombie. And then after they diagnosed me with, that's when my unit started separating. So,
okay.
Half of them went this way, half of them went that way. And like, I couldn't tell you who my leadership was, man. There was times where I would just like, I wouldn't even go to PT. Nobody would say anything. I would get up and just show my face in the motor pool and look around and hop in my car and go back to the house. And I did that for like 3-4 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew what was going on, man.
That's crazy, man. So that time probably flew by, and next thing you know, you clearing posts and you out the door.
Yeah, it was nuts because it was crazy because then when I was going through it, I was going through a divorce too, man. So it was so sloppy for me, man. So sloppy.
What's one thing you wish you would have known before you got out, like, or a couple things? I mean, obviously, if it was that big of a crazy show to get out the military, if you could go back and do it again, what would you have done different?
Man, before you get out, man, maybe like a year or maybe 6 months before you get out, start networking to jobs that you want.
For sure. Yes, sir.
Just reach out to people, say, hey, this, that, get on Facebook and, whatever company that you want to get into, like, Lockheed has a Facebook page. You can go up in and say, hey, look, I'm looking trying to work in this, in this area, and what do I need? And a lot of people reach out. Somebody reached out, and she was a supply person. Said, hey, this is what we do, and this is the systems that we work. You know how to use them? Good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you ACAP from the Army when you got out? Then did you like go through like, hey, let me show you guys how to do your resume? Did they have a program like that when you were getting out? Because it seems like, nah, it really wasn't. Like you didn't get a VA appointment before you got out. You pretty much, we're almost in the same boat of like not getting any disability, even though we had it in our records. So that's kind of crazy because you'd figure you'd have leaders or something like that tell you, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. But man, people like us, you said you did 6 years, I did 8. The mid-career soldiers that aren't doing, 20 years, it seems like they get shot to the curb. But even when I've talked to sergeant majors and these other people, and they're saying, hey, we did executive level TAPS. I didn't even know there was an executive level TAPS, but nor was I E9 or above. So why would we know, right? But it's like, even for people like that information needs to be disseminated down. And I feel like it might be getting a little bit better now because there seems like there's a lot of like jobs, probably like Lockheed and all these big job, Boeing, that they have like internships with that people that, but it's like, man, that stuff's got to get pushed out there more. I'm sure it is, but it's just not talked about that much.
The only thing that they really did tell me, they showed me the workforce center and they introduced me to the veteran section, and they really helped me out a lot.
Okay.
I mean, they were really working on trying to get me a gig when I first got out, man. But as far as the Army, man, I don't know, man. Maybe, like I said, maybe it was just because the
wartime / all types of disbanding of a unit. I mean, yeah, dude, those years was kind of wild. It might be a little bit different now. It might be a little bit slower tempo, but we don't know because we're not in. So
because I remember I had a buddy of mine. He got out. I had just got there in 2001, and he ETS was 2002 at the very end, and His was kind of smooth because we had one guy. His name was Staff Sergeant Harris. Man, he was a real solid dude. He made sure his soldiers were taken care of. So he kind of walked them through what everything that was available to him. So his was smooth, and he said, like, you know what, man? Because I think he joined when he was 17, so he was like 21. He's like, man, I'm just gonna go home and back live with my mama and go to school.
Yeah.
But he made it so much smoother. You know what I mean? It was just easy. He took him to all his appointments everywhere he needed to go, and if he couldn't take it, he made sure one of us took him.
Yeah, mentorship. Yeah, good leadership, man. That's vital, man. And anything really, no matter what you're doing. But what I was gonna ask you, well, if you got friends that you still talk to, I'm sure from the military and stuff like that, you got anyone that's stubborn that doesn't even want to deal with the VA, but sort of in the same boat as you?
Oh Lord, I got one guy at work, man. His name is Suntu. He got in and he actually got out for asthma, and he just refuses to go to the VA, man. I get on his ass every day, man. Every day I go to work. Hey, bro, go.
So what he get? He got something like you did. He got a severance package to get out, but no rating, out. Or just got out.
He just got out. They medically chapter him and say he cannot be a soldier any longer due to asthma.
And he don't want to go. And he don't want to go get seen.
He don't want to get seen.
What's his excuse?
For me, I think it's because right now he's a higher up in at the job at Lockheed, so he's like he feels, oh, I'm okay with the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got friends exactly the same. I don't think any of us that are veterans can say that. They say, oh yeah, all my friends 100%. No, man. There's always one or two that are in there. You know, hey, make sure. Hey, I don't want to go. You know, I'm good or something like that. But hey, I'm glad that you went, man, and got all your stuff taken care of. I didn't know if you were 100% or not. I knew you're obviously a vet and everything like that. But dude, just. I mean, would you say that's a life changer? Essentially, yeah, you're not going to get rich, but it's, dude.
It made my man. It made everything. It takes a lot of stress off you, man. It really does. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, like right now at my job, if I got laid off, I can go get a job somewhere paying me $12 an hour, and I will be completely great. You know what I mean? I would be like, okay, we can't ball out like we used to, but you know, if I get a job for $12 an hour working somewhere around here, I'm not worried about losing my house, my car, nothing.
Yeah. Plus you're doing other things on the side, and you smart, you know, you got a plan. You're smart. When I talked to some other veterans, they said the same thing, sort of like you. The main thing is when you get out of the military, you got to have some type of plan because, you know, when we're in the military, man, you live in a fast life. You think you got, you know, we're not making that much money, but all the money we're making, we're pretty much blowing. I mean, you're going to war. You go to war. You're in Afghanistan buying clothes on Dr. J's and getting Beats by Dre Detox Edition. My boy got me them Beats by Dre. You know what I'm saying? Like we balling out over there. But like you get home and you about to
get them Air Force Ones out in the desert.
All that, dude, and even as a contractor, you can wear all that stuff over there. And civilians, as military, we were just sending that stuff to like our friend's house. So when we got back, we had all these boxes to pop open and go hit the city. But it's just like, yeah, a lot of people just don't plan, man. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if you're gonna get out the military, you know, this isn't financial advice or anything. It's just a suggestion. You're like, make sure you get your finances in order, man, because most of the world's living strapped check to check. So it's not gonna get any easier when you first get out unless you make sure you got everything, all your ducks in a row. You know, even if you do get your disability, but if you're E8 or E7, you might be making more than that, essentially, if you don't get 100%, and you think you can live in this house and pay for this Ford Raptor and do all this stuff, man. But you gotta adjust your lifestyle sometimes too.
Exactly. Another thing, man. One of the issues I have is like the military, man, is they're the ones that how I'm trying to say this. It's like they're the ones that point you to do what you need to do. Like, I mean, like. They give you direction. Once you get out, you're just like
in the military, they're giving it to you, but when it comes time to separate, that direction sort of slips.
Yeah, you're just like, God damn, what do I do now, man? It's kind of like you're so dependent on, you know, Sergeant such and such saying, hey, this is what we're gonna do, or hey, this is what you need to do. And then when you're finally by yourself, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's weird, man, because that's how I was. I was like calling my squad, like, hey man, I don't know what to do. I'm like, hey man, he couldn't tell me, man. I was just like, oh man.
He don't know what to do because he's ready to go to PT the next day. He's not doing
Yeah,
the same. You're not on the same agenda. You're getting out to become a civilian. He's getting ready to go to the range. Two
exactly, man.
different things, dude. But
And
everyone gets to that point at some time, man. Everyone's going to transition out. You're not going to do the military forever.
yeah,
You're not. So we all going to go through it, man.
transitioning out was probably the hardest thing ever because like getting in, shit, motherfuckers were telling you what to do. Hey, this is what you do. When you're getting out, you're just like walking around in circles. Like, man, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? Who do I need to see?
What was the hardest part about transitioning? You think that you dealt with?
Trying to clear CIF.
That's a mug, man. You know that. That's for real, dude. That everyone used to dread that, man, for sure. That was the biggest thing.
I had to take my ass to the surplus store 3 times, man. I had to get a poncho, and then I had to get a goddamn e-tool.
That's expensive. E-tool expensive, man. Poncho probably not so bad, but yeah.
Yeah, because that's the only thing I didn't have was the poncho and the e-tool, man. I was like, fuck.
Not bad.
But yeah, that make sure you have all your shit when you try to go to CIF, man. Them motherfuckers do not play.
And clean.
Clean.
Yeah, and make sure it's clean. Yeah. But what about when you got out the military to transition to civilian life? What'd you find the most stressful or like something that was hard to cope with?
Civilian world, man, a lot of crying goes on. You know what I'm saying? You're just like,
yeah,
shut the fuck up. What are you crying about? It's just like really not that serious, man, bro. You're getting a paycheck. And like here where I work at Lockheed, man, there's a lot of like, damn, what you complaining about, man? It's not that bad. You really just sit at your desk until somebody needs you.
Yeah, they're not used to that. That's one thing. They're not used to that military life, man, where you gotta go to the burn pit, or you doing this or burning, whatever, man. We've done a lot more harder things in the military. I guess that prepares you for life after. It's not really that hard to get a job, but
that's one thing I can say about me is I could deal with a lot of shit and it doesn't bother me. Like,
yeah.
Some people I see that it just 20 minutes into it, they snap. Like, but yeah, it's just easier for me to deal with a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, not bad. What would you tell people that were in the military minus to have you, make sure you got your records and everything like that? What's some advice that you would give someone? Man, just like us, man, even if it doesn't matter if they're a sergeant major or 6 years like us, what would you tell them?
Man, honestly, man, if you keep your records, if you get hurt, go to sick call. They want to talk shit about you, fuck them. At the end of the day, it's you. So, like you fall messing around and hurt your shoulder, man, go to sick call, have that annotated, man. You know what I mean? That's always good for you in the long haul when you're getting ready to get out. Even if you're a lifer, man, you're gonna get out.
Right. What was the view on sick call when you were in your units? Were you looked at as like weak or?
Well, not really, man. Because mine, I was in the supply. I was in the main support battalion. So
okay,
it was we didn't have all them hard charging, infantry guys. Oh, you going to sick call and all that. Now it's like, if you got an issue, go. Just So it wasn't too bad for me.
Did you ever go? Did you ever go for your psoriasis and stuff like that? Did you get all that?
Yeah, I went through a couple times for that, and then they sent me to specialists, and then whenever I had issues, man, I'd go. I didn't have no problem going, man. You know what I mean?
That's good. No, that's good, man.
No problem. Go. It's your health, it's your body. They have no problem giving you a DD-214 and not looking at you another day.
Yeah, most definitely. What's one memory of the military that sticks out? You got any good memories?
Let's see. There's so many. Like I said, I wouldn't change any of it. I would do it all over again, man. Everything from MEPS. There was some crazy stuff in MEPS, man. There was a dude that was trying to make weight, man. So he took a couple of laxatives, man. And
oh God,
we were getting ready to do the duck walks, man. And man, it hit him. So he got up and took off running, man, and we could hear it just coming. I was like, God, bro. Basic training was cool, man. I loved it.
Yeah, basic was fun. Yeah, it was all good, man.
I'll do it again. AIT was pretty cool, man. Getting to my unit, man, all the little wild parties and people. I'm telling you, man, you get in there and you just meet all types of people from different parts of the world, man, and then you realize you have a lot of common with all these people. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I like meeting. I met this dude from India, man. His name was Singh. Man, you know, and most of my thoughts of people from India they're really quiet. Now this dude was wild as hell, man, and it was cool.
Yeah, definitely one thing about the military that's cool. You just don't matter what race, color, you know, gender. You all good, man. You all part of the same thing, and that's what sort of feel like getting people to get on here and tell their story is just we at one point or another we were all part of the same group, man. Whether you know Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, Reserve, whatever, man. We all rose our hand and we took that oath, and you know we put our life on the line for everybody else and for our families and stuff like that. So, you know, it's good to hear. It's good to hear, especially like you, my friend, man, good to hear you still doing good. And just like you're willing to take your time out of your day to share your story with people and hop on, man. So I appreciate you for doing that.
Anytime, man. Like tomorrow, man, I'm actually taking my nephew to see a recruiter, man.
Well, which one?
Well, you know, that's crazy. Most people that were in the Army or in the Marines, they end up telling their kids to join the Air Force, so we taking them to the Air Force.
Yeah, we were just talking about that yesterday with somebody else, man. We were talking about that with Chuck, and we were talking, and he was saying he was trying to get into the Air Force because his grandfather did 25 years, and then he's like, then the Air Force said nah. Then he went to join the Army. Then the Air Force called him the next day, and he said, well, I already just signed up for the Army, and the recruiter's like, oh, have a good one. like you already screwed, man. Holla at you later, man. But yeah. Join that chair force, man. Join that chair force, dude.
I'm gonna take him up there, man, because he's a pretty smart kid, man. I think he said he scored an 87 on the ASVAB. I was like, whoa, damn, man, I scored like a 62.
There you go. So, get him in there, man. You got any? Where's he want to go? He want to go to the Air Force?
Yeah, because he wants to go. He really wants to go to Japan.
Oh, that'd be nice.
He's one of them. He loves anime and all that other crazy shit. So.
Hey, get him out there, man. Get on that drill sergeant hat, man. Take him out there for a few runs, dude. Get him ready.
Yeah, man. I just told him, man, get out. You know, the best thing for anybody, the best thing for everybody is just to get away from where you grew up, man.
Nothing's changing, dude. Nothing changes, man. When you leave and come back, it's all the same, dude.
Yeah, man. When I like my hometown, man. When I leave. When I go visit, I can only because both of my parents have passed, so I don't really have any reason to go back to my hometown. I just go visit friends and some of my family. But when I get there, man, I can only stay for like 3 or 4 days, and I gotta go. I was like, man, this place is like sucks the life out.
It's like a black hole almost sometimes. Actually, I feel you on that.
Like, bro, man, me and you was in high school together, man, and you still a line cook.
You still that cash and carry, bag and grill. I know, man. It's like people don't ever get out. Nah, for sure. Nah.
Where I'm at is it's like I said, it's either working in hospitality or working at the prisons, man. So neither.
Yeah, sometimes there's not that many options, man, unless you got a degree in nursing or something like that. You know how Florida is, all the retirees down here. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude. Well, hey, man, I'm glad you've been doing good. I appreciate you coming on. And you got anything to say to close it out? If not, hey, man, it's been a pleasure, bro.
Nah, man, everything's cool, man. Just, hey, man, this podcast thing, man, keep it going. I'm going to, like I said, I got a couple partners that I'm going to link you up with, man, so they can tell their stories because some of them are wild, man, and they good people.
All right, sounds good, man. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Hey, when you come to Florida, Thought Sassanana, whatever you call it, man, link me up, man. We got to link up in person, bro. But I appreciate you coming on today.
We might come down there for a weekend, man. Just to hit up the springs and something. Just get out of the house. So I'll hit you up, man. I still got your number and everything.
All right, for sure, bro. It's been a pleasure, man. Until next time, appreciate y'all listening in. Will Glock, man. Florida boys, let's get it.
Yes, sir. Y'all
have a good one, man. All right, take care.